Hello again, this is my presentation on week 5's assignment on the relationships between nutrition and the immune system. I wanted to first talk about the learning outcomes for this week and then move on to the 3 specific foods or dietary choices that are associated with depleting a person's immune system or causing an inflammatory response within the body. Then I'll move on to the 3 nutrients that are thought to keep your immune system healthy. So for this week, we were to describe 2 screening tools utilized by healthcare providers, and we did this in the discussion post. We also identified the nutritional screening tests in the discussion post as well. But for this assignment, we will be examining foods that are thought to weaken the immune system, and then we're also going to identify 3 different nutrients that develop a stronger immune system in this presentation. So first, I wanted to talk about foods that are high in sugar. Um, Overall, I mean, it's commonly known that foods high in sugar are pretty bad for you. They can lead to obesity. You can eventually develop, or high blood sugar levels means that you can develop type 2 diabetes. You're more likely to have heart disease if you eat foods that are high, or if you eat a lot of foods that are high in sugar. Um, but in addition to this, when we're talking about our immune system, it can increase the production of inflammatory proteins, which can um, also inhibit the response of neutrophils or phagocytes, and these are also referred to as leukocytes or white blood cells, and they're basically types of immune cells that help protect against infection. It has also been shown that high blood sugar levels may harm gut barrier function and drive gut bacteria imbalances, which overall can alter your immune response and make your body more susceptible to infection. Um, Similarly, many other studies have linked high blood sugar levels to an impaired immune response in people with and without diabetes. Um, Also, diets high in added sugar, may increase the susceptibility to certain autoimmune diseases, including rheumatoid arthritis. Another dietary choice or dietary choices that can harm your immune system are salty foods. And salt is a common seasoning that's used to add flavor, preserve foods, stop the bacteria growth. However, too much of it can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and calcium loss because sometimes the salt will draw out the calcium from your bones. A lot of people obtain, or a lot of people eat a lot of salt in things like chips, frozen dinners, fast food, and all of this can impair your body's immune response. And this is because high salt diets can trigger tissue inflammation and increase the risk of autoimmune diseases. In addition to this, it can also lower anti-inflammatory proteins, and it can inhibit normal immune function, suppress or alter the gut bacteria, and promote the generation of immune cells that are implicated um, in autoimmune diseases. Eating foods that that have a lot of salt can also worsen existing autoimmune diseases. For example, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis again, and lupus. Another dietary choice that can deplete or harm your immune system are omega-6 fatty acids. Um, these fatty acids promote the expression of pro-inflammatory proteins, which can weaken the immune system. And I thought it was really interesting when I was reading or when I was researching more about omegas in general, was that usually people assume that it's an omega, it's going to be healthy or it'll be good for you. However, omega-6, because um, if omega-6, if you have a little bit too much of it, these um, pro-inflammatory proteins can cause a lot of trouble. And on the other hand, you have omega-3 fatty acids, which can help reduce the production of these proteins, created by omega-6 fatty acids, and they can also enhance the immune function. So Western diets in general, diets that we're exposed to, tend to be high in omega-6 fatty acids and low in omega-3s, and this imbalance can be associated or has been associated with an increased risk, disease risk, and possibly immune dysfunction. What's more, studies in people with obesity indicate that high dietary intake of omega-6s can lead to immune dysfunction and an increase in certain conditions like asthma and allergic rhinitis. This ratio of having high dietary omegas and low omega-3 fatty acids can also promote excessive inflammation, which can contribute to inflammatory cytokine storms in the lungs during viral infections. Something interesting to note is cytokine storms have been researched or a lot of research has been done on cytokine storms and COVID. So, moving on to the three nutrients that help our immune system. The first one that I wanted to talk about was zinc. This is a micronutrient, more specifically a trace mineral, that is very important in terms of enzyme reactions, DNA production, and it also helps support a healthy immune system overall. And it can also help heal wounds. It partakes in helping heal wounds and supports normal growth. It can be found in meats, shellfish, legumes, seeds, nuts, dairy, eggs, and whole grains. So zinc has been shown to help with ulcers, ADHD, acne, and other conditions. Zinc deficiencies can cause slow growth, impotence in men, hair loss, diarrhea, and those that are particularly at risk are strict vegetarians and alcoholic abusers. Zinc is found in cells throughout the body. It helps the immune system fight off invading bacteria and viruses. The body also needs zinc to make proteins and DNA, as I mentioned earlier. During pregnancy, infancy, and childhood, it's very important because it helps the body grow and develop properly. And as I mentioned earlier, zinc can also help wounds heal, and it's also important for proper senses of taste and smell. The next nutrient that I wanted to talk about that helps the immune system is one that is very popular, and it's vitamin C. Vitamin C is an essential micronutrient for humans. It's an antioxidant, which means it can help decrease inflammation and boost the immune system. It also helps the body in terms of fighting off free radicals, and vitamin C, more specifically, can help boost the immunity or the body's immune system by helping white blood cells function more effectively, strengthening your skin's defense system, and helping wounds heal faster. One of the main reasons why a lot of people like to take vitamin C supplements is to boost their immunity because vitamin C is involved in many parts of the immune system. First, it helps encourage the production of white blood cells, as I mentioned earlier, more specifically lymphocytes and phagocytes, which help protect the body against infection. Then, second, vitamin C also helps these white blood cells function more effectively while protecting them from damage by potentially harmful molecules, such as free radicals. Third, vitamin C is also an essential part of the skin's defense system. It's actively transported to the skin, where it can act as an antioxidant and help strengthen the skin's barriers. And then some additional benefits of vitamin C include managing high blood pressure, lowering the risk of heart disease, and reducing uric acid levels, which can help those specifically with gout. In addition to this, vitamin C can also improve the absorption of iron that is poorly absorbed, such as iron that comes from meat sources. It also helps reduce the risk of iron deficiency. So a little bit more on how vitamin C can reduce blood uric acid levels and prevent gout attacks. Gout is a type of arthritis that affects approximately 4% of American adults, and it's incredibly painful, and it involves inflammation of the joints, especially those of the big toes. People with gout can experience swelling, sudden severe attacks of pain. And gout symptoms specifically appear when there's too much uric acid in the blood. This uric acid is described as a waste product produced by the body at high levels. It can crystallize and deposit in the joints. However, interestingly enough, several studies have shown that vitamin C can help reduce this uric acid in the blood and as a result protect against these gout attacks. In terms of how vitamin C can help manage blood pressure, approximately 1/3 of American adults have high blood pressure, and studies have shown that vitamin C can help lower blood pressure in both those with and without high blood pressure. Animal studies have also been done, and when taking a vitamin C supplement, they found that this helped relax blood vessels that carry blood from the heart, which can in turn, again, help reduce blood levels. I did want to warn you that this next image it's a drawing, but it might be a little gory, I guess. And the reason why I decided to include it is because when talking about vitamin C, it's also important to note vitamin C deficiency, known as scurvy. What is scurvy? Like I said, it's a condition caused by a lack of vitamin C. Although most animals can manufacture their own vitamin C in their bodies, we can't, monkeys can't, and guinea pigs can't. This lack of vitamin C means that collagen, a protein found in body tissue such as skin, cannot be replaced, and this leads to tissue breakdown. Those with this deficiency might suffer from fatigue, bleeding gums, joint pain, shortness of breath, slow healing wounds, as we can see here in the picture, and potentially fatal heart problems. Just some interesting things to note. Scurvy, the person who helped cure scurvy was James Linden in 1474, I believe. Let me check that really quick. No, sorry, James Lind in 1747 was the one who is known to treat or cure scurvy. Another interesting fact is that guava, chilies, and red peppers contain much more vitamin C than citrus fruit do. Moving on to the next and the last nutrient that I wanted to talk about that helps boost the immune system. And actually, one more thing about scurvy is that those sailors at that time who ate the ship's rats were inadvertently protecting themselves because this animal synthesizes its own vitamin C. So moving on, the next nutrient that I wanted to talk about was vitamin D. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that assists the body in promoting healthy bones, supporting the immune system, the brain, the nervous system, and it also helps regulate insulin levels and support lung function. In terms of vitamin D and the immune system, in terms of vitamin D and the immune system, vitamin D helps build immunity and helps fight off infection by regulating the activity of immune cells, which can elicit antiviral responses. Vitamin D binds to these receptors on immune cells, such as neutrophils or macrophages and natural killer cells. Again, these are white blood cells or leukocytes, which are part of the immune system. And vitamin D stimulates these cells to produce peptides with antiviral properties that defend the body against foreign pathogens. Studies have shown that vitamin D plays a role in both the activation of these cells for helping the body fight off infections and also in suppressing the immune response in cases of overinflammation. Just to wrap up this presentation, I did want to talk about why eating is better than taking supplements, because a lot of those that are looking to boost their immune system want to do so by taking pills or something like that. And it's better to take these vitamins and minerals in food sources because they're easier to absorb than those in supplemental form. And also, these supplements may interact with medications and pose risks.